before I pick them.
Matt Simon would like to know how President Paul would immediately stimulate the economy.
Immediately. Well, since I want the troops home, and I can do that as president, you bring the troops home from Korea and all these places, have them spend all that money here. And that would be a little boost until we iron out our foreign policy, but bring the troops home and let them spend their money and send a signal that all the regulations written and all the executive orders that compounded our problems in the financial sector, the president can do a lot to change that. We're over-regulated and over-taxed. You need Congress to get the taxes back in order, but you need to send a signal. We're going to live within our means. We're going to have sound money. We're going to shrink the size of the Federal Register, and we'll go back to sanity and have our Constitution back someday.
Jeff says, what about the fair tax? Where do you stand?
I probably would vote for, I'm not a co-sponsor, the fair tax is the sales tax, and I don't think it's completely fair. It's not fair to retired people, and it's not fair to, it's a regressive tax. I think the poor, get stuck with that.
What would your tax plan be?
0, 0, 0. I mean, I would like to get rid of the income tax and the corporate tax and shrink the size of government. And we only have had an income tax since 1913.
So wait.
Anything
0, 0, 0. You mean to tell me? Yeah, I know. But what is the real President Paul going to do on taxes?
I'd do anything I can to lower them. Anything and everything, tax is a burden. But the reason I don't emphasize that as much, and I'm not on any bills, is spending is the tax. Spending takes the money out of the community, then they tax us, then they borrow it, and then they print it. And it all goes back and destroys the economy, pushes the prices up for the poor, and the poor suffer more than the rich. The characteristic of the destruction of a currency, we're about 98% devaluation since the Fed came in. When you destroy a currency, and this comes from Austrian economics, that there's a transfer of wealth from the middle class to the wealthy. And this is why the Wall Streeters are right, but I'm not sure the occupiers understand this. But this is always the case. And then they get the control and the power, they get the bailouts. But what happens to the middle class? They lose their jobs and they lose their houses. So
But if you do a massive cut at the beginning of a Paul presidency,
right,
doesn't that in itself affect the economy in a detrimental way immediately?
Not necessarily. Study what happened after World War II. 10 million people came back. They weren't given jobs. The military budget was slashed, I think, approximately 50 or 60%. Taxes went down. And all of a sudden, jobs became available again. But they didn't have to worry about 10 million people. Where were they going to go? And I'm not even advocating that. It's going to be through attrition. My program it gets rid of people through attrition, and it won't be overnight, just as the Federal Reserve is through attrition and through gradual changes.
Charles, last one.
Well, this is sort of out of left field, but if a major waterway, the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal, fell into hostile hands, what would you as Commander-in-Chief do, if anything?
I'd look at it and study it and find out if it was a threat to our national security and go to the Congress, find out if they want to declare war, who the enemy is, and take care of it and get it over with.
Clive in Ireland, Dr. Paul has delivered 4,000 babies. Is that harder than politics?
It's, well, I better not say what I was going to say.
It's messier? Was that what you're going to say?
I mean, it's a lot more enjoyable than being grilled. Medicine is wonderful, and delivering babies was wonderful. And as my wife always said, an OB doctor is one of the few doctors that gives you something. A lot of times, a doctor can only give you your health back. There was something very wonderful about it, and I loved it. Like I said, they didn't usually give me too much grief. Those babies were glad to get out.
Do you need to win Iowa? Where do you need to finish?
In the top. I would be disappointed with third, but I should be. If I come in third, I'm still alive, but I think I better do first or second in a couple of those. I have to do well in January.
Okay. Congressman Paul, thank you very much for the time. I think we set a record online. We'll check it out after this. Thanks for watching Special Report Online. And remember, we have had you on quite a bit. So tell everybody that's a supporter that we're all right. Okay. Join us Fox News Channel every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Special Report. We'll see you next center seat next week. Herman Cain on Tuesday. Control Room. See you later.
So just on the taxes, I know you have to go. If you're not in favor of a fair tax for consumption, you still want to tax income. But you have to tax something, right? So are you going to tax consumption?
We got